I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. The different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, oh Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power. Oh, one power. One power is what we are. One power. One power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. What we are is one forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. My soul remembers your voice when all I hear is frustration and doubt. My soul remembers your grace when the hurt is searing as a desert. Still I never go without. My soul. My soul remembers your touch when my body yearns to be cradled like a child. My soul remembers your strength when a heavy burden's weighing on me. I am sheltered all the while, sheltered all the while, whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the streets or diving the ocean deep, whether it's winter or spring, whether I cry or sing. Oh, my soul remembers. My soul remembers your power when I fear I cannot do what must be done. My soul remembers is your mercy, blessing the deepest doubt I harbor with the heat of the sun, with the kiss of the sun, whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the streets or dive in the ocean deep, whether it's winter or spring, whether I cry or...
For our opening song, we're going to do "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." A lot of you know it. If you don't know it, it's on page 338 in the hymn book. And we'll do it through, at least 2 times. Feel free to stand up if you want. "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where you ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to love and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Welcome to Unity of Gainesville, and good morning, Florida. We are blessed with this fall weather of crisp evenings and crisp mornings, and for me, it is a delight. May this service of Unity of Gainesville be a blessing for all of us, whether you are here online or here in person. We are very, very pleased that you have chosen to be with us today, and we delight in sharing this sacred time together. Every Sunday morning is indeed an offering of many hearts and hands, for there are so many that contribute both their time and their talents to make this moment possible. These are people that are seen and unseen, but they completely support our church family. Today, Dee is our prayer partner, Barbara Gordon is our board member on duty, and I, Rupali Robinson, am the Sunday service leader. We are also supported today by Gabe and Alejandro on our sound, whether it's the live stream or the soundboard. Last, but certainly not least, we have our guest speaker, Hank Lewis, with an enticingly entitled message, How Are We Like Toys? And I'll give you a hint. Think Transformer toys, or those Transformer movies, okay? Hank is now serving at the Unity of Central Florida in Orlando as a licensed Unity teacher. Also, though, he is the outgoing licensed Unity teacher representative for the Southeast region of Unity Worldwide Ministries. And today in our audience, we have a succession of regional representatives with us. LUT Carla Palma and Hank are now past representatives, and the incoming elected Southeast Regional LUT is Denny. Denny Ralston is here with us today. Would you mind standing? We wish you well in your position, and we now would love to have you do our opening prayer.
This is such a beautiful place. I love the setting. We're just very, very blessed to be here, and I'm very blessed to have been able to be here with you too. So if we could take a moment to close our eyes. Today is a wonderful day. Living, loving Spirit, creator of all that is. We are so grateful to be in this spiritual community, to be able to be together, to be able to share, to be able to commune, to be able to make connections. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you for Hank, for Carla, for all that they have done, for all that they continue to do in ministry. And we say thank you for each and every one that is here today, knowing that each of us has their own ministry, if you have that title or you don't have that title. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen.
I would love to honor anyone who is here today for the first time. Our first-time visitors, our second-time visitors. What we normally do at this time is hand out the greeting packets, and I noticed that some of you already had them as I was in the gathering room. However, if there is someone here who is here for the first time, please just put your hand up if you did not receive what we just call our welcoming packet. Is there anyone? I do know there are new people here today. All right. As many of you may know, or some do not, our Board of Trustees president and our treasurer, doubleheader, Bonnie Kilgore and Jackie Tatum, are both healing into physical wholeness as they are cared for in rehab. Also, one of our prayer chaplains, Ann Scruggs, is in rehab after a car accident. So I wish to acknowledge all of those who have been praying, for indeed, prayer works when we work it. In unity, prayer is a foundation upon which we live our lives. Jackie, Bonnie, and Ann would love our continued prayer, and all now can be visited. Needing more detail, please just look on the easel in the gathering room, and I will be posting where each of these dear beloveds are in process. Also, please remember that we cannot do a whole mess of announcements up here So check our website, unitygainesville.org, or the weekly newsletter that we get called Unity Messenger from Sue Henry, and get the details, updates for events there, as well as classes. On Sunday, the 14th, Reverend Betty, and Laura Mills are hosting what we are calling a volunteer fair. And it is for us to be sharing, the board and them, how we have been creating an infrastructure, how we have been creating teams and committees for various needs, like the welcoming or the decorations or the grounds. And we would just love to have everyone attend so that they know what has been evolving. On the 19th, which is a Saturday, there will be a what we call fall cleanup from 9 to 1, and that is part of our newly created ground stream. And there will be a light lunch provided. See Paul Leese, for he is the team leader. And then finally, if you want to get into the Christmas season and just think ahead, there's a beautiful Advent booklet already available, Christmas of Light and Peace, and you can order at our bookstore ahead. So now, I would love it, if I have Rolando Drossal to come up and read the Daily Word. Or you can do it from right where you are.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Loud and clear? Yeah. What a beautiful day, isn't it? I love this weather, by the way. The word for today is prosperity. With God as my source, I live abundantly. Proverbs 8:1-8. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity. No matter how much I have in the bank, the kind of car I drive, or the house I live in, I know these things are mere manifestations of abundance. The source of all prosperity is God. I look beyond appearances to find a deeper meaning of prosperity. Meaningful work that I enjoy doing is part of my prosperity, not only because of what I earned, but also because of the satisfaction I feel when I use my skills. My house becomes a home when filled with people I love and care for. My financial resources don't diminish, but multiply when I share them generously. As I look beyond the good things in my life to the love, the creative insight, and the limitless flow of divine ideas that brought them into manifestation, I discover true abundance. With God as my source, I live abundantly. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
I'm going to sing a song now that a lot of you probably know, a wonderful Daniel Nahmod song called Love Is My Decision. So feel free to sing along if you like. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Thank you, Kathy. So, good morning, Unity of Gainesville. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Good job. I can be really loud when I need to be. So, not what I'd planned to do to start this morning, but I want us to do something slightly different. We just heard about 3 people in rehab and who are working on a healing process. So, I'm going to invite you now to shout out the name of anybody else that you know who is in need of healing. Might be yourself. If you're willing to, just say those names out loud. Let's put it all into the universe. Excellent. Thank you. Join me now as we pray for all of them. It's in gratitude that we know that healing starts within, but that healing also is a part of who we are. And it's a part of who we are as we support others and we lift our vibrational energy with theirs and bring them to a place of wholeness. And we don't know what that wholeness is for each person, but we do know that they can arise there. And we lift up every name that's been mentioned, every person whose name has been spoken here, knowing that all that is there for them is their highest and best. And we see that for each one. And we see healing for each one. And so it is. Amen. So I asked Reverend Betty what the theme was for this month, and she told me it was spiritual transformation. And I'm always curious what other people do with themes. So I watched last Sunday's service. I watch your services a lot, usually on Wednesday afternoons, not during them because I'm somewhere else. But I watched it actually yesterday after I had already watched it on Wednesday, just because it was such a great job. Carla, thank you. But as Carla said last week, we turned in our topic or our title a few weeks early. So when I turned in my title of How Are We Like Toys, I didn't realize Carla was going to turn in a title called Spiritual Alchemist. So Carla talked about math and science and all of those things I failed in school. And I was sitting there listening thinking, wow, Carla talked about all this heavy stuff, and I turned in, we're like toys. But you know me by now because I've been here enough times that most of you understand that's who I am. Where Carla is thinking about all those wonderful things in engineering, I taught business management and ethics, and I'm thinking of ways that we can have fun in the world using all the information and all the knowledge that we have. So as I started thinking about transformation, I really did first think about the movies, the ones that existed from like 1980 to 2017, the Transformer movies. Y'all remember those? Where something simple as a car suddenly becomes a warrior. But there was always a trigger, something that caused them to make that change. And then I thought about all the toys that our son has and all the little Transformers that he would play with, where again, it's a simple car or a truck that would turn into some kind of huge warrior or animal or some kind of other thing that was supposed to rule the world. It was going to take over. It would transform from one thing to another. And this week, Gene DeBarbarise, Reverend DeBarbarise, who is at Unity Eastside in Tallahassee, sent me a video. And it's children's Halloween costumes, where they're a car and they're just lying flat on the ground, and then they turn into a transformer of some kind. It was amazing to watch. I can't imagine my kid would lay on the ground like that, but it was interesting to watch and to see how things have developed and how things have transformed just based on our imagination. We came up with all of these new things, all of these new toys, just for that. And as I'm thinking about all of those, I decided that I'm a lot like those toys. There are moments when I'm that simple little car, riding down the road, doing my thing. And then there are other times that we become warriors. We become a totally different being. And that's a part of what transformation is about. In fact, I would guess, looking across this group, that many of us have transformed over and over and over during our lifetime. We are definitely not the person now that we were, for some of us, 30, 40 years ago. We're not the person we were 5 years ago. And truthfully, we've transformed from who we were yesterday to who we are today. Because as we continue to learn, as we continue to grow our soul, and we let it evolve, we start to go through that transformation process. The theme for the Transformer movies was no sacrifice, N-O, no victory. Had to work with that one for a little while. If there is no sacrifice, there is no victory. I'm not sure that's always true, but I get what they were trying to say. That at times we have to give up the old and give up where we are in our comfort zone to transform into what is next for us, to move into that which is better for us. And I believe that inside of us, deep in every one of us, is a desire to transform. Romans 12:2 in the Christian scripture says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and prove what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Metaphysically, which is how we look at everything, all that says is there's a Christ consciousness living in every one of us. And it's within that Christ consciousness that we learn to transform our lives. And as our mind grows and we learn and we know better, we do better, as Maya Angelou said, and we move forward into what is our next thing to do. Charles Fillmore said that as we renew our minds, it takes us to right thinking. Now here's the catch. I can't tell you what right thinking is for you. You alone know that. But it's saying that we move toward that right thinking. Fillmore also said that the line that says conform to the pattern of this world is about us attaching greater value to earthly things, to our stuff, than it is to the spiritual side of things. I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life where stuff really mattered to me a whole lot more than much else. I was not the brightest child in the world, based on what I'm going to tell you now. But when I finished college, I bought my first house. And I had a really good job. I was actually teaching college after I finished. And I thought, everything is going well. And I went to my parents' house and I looked around at all the stuff they had. And I didn't think about the fact that it had taken them 40 years to get all of that stuff. So I went and bought it all. Yeah, they should have never given me charge cards. Bought it all. Filled my house with stuff. And I was so proud of it until the bill came. And then I have to figure out, how do I pay for all this stuff? So then I tucked my little head between my legs and went to my mom and dad and said, I have a problem. And my dad said his exact words, "This will transform your life." And he gave me some of the money. And he gave me the directions to the bank right down the road where I could get the rest of it. and make those little payments that we have all come to either love or hate, depending on where we are in our life journey. It was transformative. It was a lesson for me to get out of that I need all this stuff and move into I can live happily with what I have. Doesn't mean we don't move forward to get more. It just means that for me, I needed to be able to pay for it. So that was an important thing for me. That was a transformative moment. And I also want to mention that as I believe we each have the ability within us, a desire within us to want to do better and to want to change and to want to transform our lives, we also have free will. And at any point in the process, we can put the brakes on it all. We can stop moving forward. We can stop evolving our soul. We can stop growing. We can stay right where we are. I have friends who do that often. I don't get it. I have family who do that often. I don't get it. But you know what? It's their journey, not mine. And it is so much easier for me when I realize that they're the ones making decisions for their life and I don't have to. They don't want me to either. So I just stop and realize they're on their journey, I'm on mine. I want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to transform and change. The second part of that verse says that we're to know the good and pleasing will of God. And I think I talked about this here before, but God only has one will. There's not a long line. There's not a long page telling you what it is you're supposed to do with your world. You get to make those choices. God's only will for you is good, period. Nothing beyond that. God doesn't have a plan for your life. I know that upsets a lot of people when I say things like that. There is not a detailed map of what you're going to do that God wrote for you. There may be a detailed map that you wrote for yourself before you incarnated, and now you're acting it out. But even with that, you still have the ability to say no at any given time. We can stop that transformation, or we can accept that this is the good that is there for us. Fillmore also said, by waiting daily upon God in silence and meditation, man proves what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God for himself. The mind is renewed and so quickened that one can discern what the will of God is without doubt or uncertainty. So if we want to know the specifics of what our good is, we spend time in the silence. We spend time in reflection and meditation to see what it is Spirit wants us to do next. What is the next move that we are here for? When we incarnated, we did bring a plan with us. The catch is, when we incarnate, we don't remember it. Kenya, right? Could probably tell us exactly what the plan for Kenya's life is right now if she could speak and tell us. Because she's still close enough to the experience to remember it. Most of us are so far past that, we don't. So we need to spend that time in meditation and silence as we figure out what it is that is our next move. What is our next transformation? And a part of that is knowing who we are. So first, who are we not? We're not any of those things that people told you you were. I don't care if it was your mom and dad, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, the church that you went to growing up, or the school that you went to. You are not any of those things. You are who you are right now. You're not your past. You're not your history. You're not any of those kind of things. Those are all behind you. We are our current present in the moment self. So my mom kept every report card from first grade until they quit giving them out, which probably means the others are somewhere. But all through elementary and middle school, my mom kept my report cards. When she passed away, my brother and I found this box of fun stuff, and I kept them all and read them. I am not that person anymore. Well, some of that person, because all the comments said Hank likes to talk a lot. He enjoys entertaining the class. He is all these different things, and yeah, all of that part's probably still true. But you know what the difference was? As an adult, I was diagnosed as being both dyslexic and ADHD. Now I know why I was all those things in school, and I know why I'm still all those things right now. I take some really good stuff to help me concentrate most of the time. And sometimes I don't. And it's fun when I don't. But I've transformed from one person to another. From when I was a little kid to now is a drastic difference. But I still believe there's that DNA in me that wants to keep transforming, that wants to keep moving. And a realization that we are children of God, period. And it's God's good pleasure to give us the entirety of the kingdom. But we don't get it all at once. It's available all at once. But we get it as we transform and as we move forward in life. We aren't who others said we were. We are who we are in our mind at this moment. That is it. Because we are the I am that I think you mentioned, Carla, last week. We are that I am. As Karen Drucker's song says, we are the heart, we are the voice, we are the hands of God on this earth. We are God expressing, every one of us, the I am. So this morning, how powerful are you feeling? We're told we have 12 powers at least. There's more. We are love and wisdom and power and imagination and understanding and release and order and zeal. And I probably left one off because I always mess the 12 powers up. But we have all of that living within us, waiting to be called forth. That is a part of the transformation of who we are. Learning those powers, learning to use them for the greater good of both ourselves, for Unity of Gainesville, and for our world. We are being called to move up. We're being called to step up. But sometimes, when we make that great big step into our what's next, we land in a whole pile of goo. Caterpillar to butterfly. There's the goo stage in the middle. I do know the correct name, but it's goo for me. It's that stage where I feel like I'm swimming in Jell-O or walking in a pool of Jell-O trying to move across, but everything's kind of eh. So we're sitting in that pile of goo, literally, and we're waiting for what's next. That's part of the process. It just is. Because sometimes we need to sit there and to work with that goo and know what is next for us to move on. So recently a lot has changed in my life. I've been sitting in a lot of goo. And I fought that goo as much as I could for a long time and then finally decided, just calm down. Let the goo envelop you. It's all right. It's part of my process. Go into meditation, go into silence, see what is next. And I'm excited about what is next. But there's still some of that goo over there. There's still some of it that's all around as it works through us. And as I see the transformation process for myself, I know that I'm sometimes in that goo. Y'all know I like a good story. And a friend sent me this one about these new parents. So the parents are there. They have this newborn, and this dad is really excited because he has a little boy who he thinks is going to be his mini-me. And right after this child is born, the mother has an appointment she has to keep with the doctor. So the dad says, I'll take care of my boy. I'll stay at home and I'll keep him and everything is going to be perfect. So the mother goes to her appointment, and the minute she leaves, what does the baby do? Cries. And after a while, wails and cries louder. And dad tries everything, all those things we read about in that book for our first kid, but not for the rest of them. He tried all of those things. He tried all those things people told him. He called his mom. She wasn't available, so she told him some things to try, did them all. Finally, the baby wouldn't quit crying, so he called the doctor and said, can I come in? The doctor said, yeah, come on in, not a problem. So he goes to the doctor, and the doctor looks at the baby and checks his stomach and his ears and, all those things that doctors check on little bitty babies. And then he gets down to the diaper. And the doctor goes, well, now we know what the problem is. He needs a change. And the dad said, well, I guess I'm a little confused because on the box it says these are good up to 10 pounds. So I'm telling you that just so you'll remember transformation today. Because you're probably going to remember that beyond anything else I talk about. I get that. Sometimes we need a change. And sometimes we need somebody else to bring that to our attention. Now, that doesn't mean we get to be mean to people and just go, you need to change. I saw you yesterday. You need to change that. No. It just means that sometimes, though, we do need somebody to stir that pot a little for us and to send us on the right direction. We need to make a change, just like that dad didn't quite know what to do. That's when we're in that goo phase. That's when they're sitting there trying to figure out what's next. What is it we're supposed to do? Father Richard Rohr, you guys know who that is? Yes. Okay. So Father Richard Rohr in 1986 left behind his entire community, left behind his family, his friends, his job, and his ministry, and moved halfway across the country to a new place to start something new. He ended up in 1987 opening the Center for Action and Contemplation, which has really helped a lot of us in that goo phase. To just bluntly say, here's what's going on. Here's how the whole universe works. He teaches more unity principles than some unity ministers I know. And he's not a unity person. But he teaches us how to transform our lives and how to move on into what's next for each one of us. And when he was asked why he did all of that, and why he was willing to put up with that goo phase of having no one around, his statement was, I was called. That's it. So for us, part of transformation is figuring out what is our call? Why are we here? Why are we on this earth, and why are we here, and who are we supposed to be, and who are we ministering to, and what is our next best step? There was another writer called Alan Cohen. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He has a book called A Course of Miracles Made Easy. I should probably read that one. And then he has another one, which is one of my favorite books. It's called Are You As Happy As Your Dog? And he's very blunt with most of what he said. And one of the things he said about transformation is that we need to remember that scared and sacred are the same letters. It's all in how you arrange them. The word terrific and terrified come from the same root word. Awful and awesome come from the same root word. It's all in the direction we take them in. So not saying we're not going to have some times that are a little terrifying and we're not going through that goo stuff. But his last statement in this section was, every negative experience holds the seed of transformation. I'm going to tell you, every great experience has a seed for transformation too. Everything that we do, everything that we say has a seed for transformation for ourselves and others. So I'm learning to use that as the lens for my life. What does this teach me, and how does this transform me into what's next for me? Usually it's coming out of something where I'm comfortable into something that's new. And that new is always for my highest and best, unless I've just stopped it and let fear take over. We're always transforming. We're always moving. So I want you to consider for a few minutes about Unity of Gainesville. What are you transforming to? The first time I spoke for Unity of Gainesville, Phyllis contacted me, and it was right at the beginning of COVID, and we were online, all 10 of us. So look around this room. This is transformation, friends. I don't know what the congregation looked like pre-COVID because I never came here then. I know what it looks like now. And I know what growth is. And I know what changing in people is. And I think that's what I see here. We are transforming. Now the question is, how do we transform Gainesville? Or just start with your community right here. Statistically, over the last 10 years, the only churches that have grown and stayed consistent are those who minister within their own community. Notice I didn't say exist within. Minister within. Outreach within their own community. So how are we outreaching to others so that we can help raise their consciousness and thus the consciousness of our world? Sometimes, personally, I can be quite happy putting the brakes on things and just stopping for a minute. And sometimes I can stop for a lot longer than a minute. And it's okay. Because usually in that time, I'm figuring out who I am. I'm figuring out what my next is. I am not good at releasing and letting go. I love that song. I think I did a talk here once. It's called I Release, and then I pick back up because that's what I'm pretty good at. I release it, I let go, and then 20 minutes later I think, well, you know, the universe could probably use a little extra help with that. So I just take it right on back. And then I release it again, and then I pick it back up. But we need to learn to release and truly let go. If we want to transform to what's next, we have to release the things that we're hanging on to for dear life. Years ago, my partner at the time was talking to a friend who asked what the dining room in our house looked like. And my partner at the time described it as Asian old lady. Because it was an Asian influence, and everything else in there belonged to either my mother or my grandmother, who were both deceased at the time. I don't let go of things easily. I'm getting better. But to see real transformation, we have to let go of things. We have to move forward. We have to go on. So I ask you again, how powerful are you feeling? Powerful enough to move to the next thing. Powerful enough to let go of the things that are needing to be let go of in your life. According to history, Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. I prefer know yourself. What is it about you that you need to transform? What is it that you need to move on from? And what is it that you mostly need to move to? I believe we have the message to change our world. One person at a time, starting with us. And then we move on to the next one. So like those toys that have to be manipulated to be transformed, and those maneuvers who need a trigger, I'm going to wish for all of you your trigger so that we can transform ourselves and our lives and move on to what is next for each one of us. Truly being the voice, the heart, and the hand of God on this earth. We are the I am. We need to claim that I am and transform our world. Will you join me in a time of meditation? As you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath and think about your life. Think about who you are. Think about where you are at this moment. Think about where you want to go. How do you want to transform yourself? What do you know in your gut, your instinct, that is yours to do? Think about the power that you hold. Call up those powers. Use them. Think about all that we can do in this city and in our world when we actually agree to the transformation and move forward. So I invite you now just to take a second and think about what it is that you want to change in your life and in your world to make not only your world, but all of our world a better place. For the messages that we hear in silence, I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
So we're going to do a song by Karen Drucker called Blessing to the World. And it goes between you, we, and I. So I'll just start it and then we'll keep going. a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. Now sing with we. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. Right here at Unity of Gainesville and taking it into our community. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. Now I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of Spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of Spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. Now turn to someone else and sing, you are. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. Now someone else. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. Now think about your own transformation and sing, I am. I am the heart, I am the hand, I am the voice of Spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, you are the hand, we are the place of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. God is our source. God is our inspiration. And indeed, God only wants that which is the highest and best for all, each of us. And remembering that this is now in our service the time of giving, we recognize that that divinity creates this loop of giving and receiving without end. We know indeed that as we give, we receive. And for those of you who are with us participating on Zoom and Facebook, YouTube, please know that we do have a link that is secure on our website as well as within the weekly newsletter. And if you are here in our sanctuary, would you please hold the gift in your hand, perhaps place it over your heart, and please leave it in that beautiful, elegant offertory bowl on the door. On the door? I doubt it. By the door on your way out. These gifts are mindfully and lovingly given, and it allows us to continue to grow and to support our church community. We are so grateful for all that you give in whatever way you give it. We are grateful. So please say after me, divine love, expressing in me,
Divine love expressing
through me,
as me,
blesses and multiplies
blesses and multiplies
all that I have,
all that I have,
all that I give,
all that I give,
and all that I
all that I
receive.
receive.
And this is now the time for the blessing of our children. And Miss Gwen, does Miss Gwen have your other child with us here? Not today, we just brought little one? Okay. RTH and his wife Sally have a new one, as you heard during our service, and we are so blessed to have their presence. And there is another little one that often is with us. Okay. Does anyone know where Miss Gwen is?
Oh. Uh-huh.
Miss Gwen is...
We're just learning this technology. Uh-oh. And it's all in Chinese, so I can't fix it. But today we were talking about monsters and things that scare us.
Huh.
And we found out that monsters and scary thoughts are made up in our mind. It's era thinking. And so we made, and I'm going to try emailing them when I get home the parts so that they can make a scarecrow that's supposed to scare the crows out of the field and wouldn't, so that they couldn't eat the farmer. Uh-oh, my spider lost an eye.
That's the birds.
This is our handicapped spider. It said that glue would hold, but and Allie and I decided this is not a real spider because it doesn't have 8 legs, it only has 6. So it was fun having them virtually this morning, and we're going to try to do more of that.
Cool.
We're really pleased that we can reach out in this way. So let us do our traditional blessing, and again, that is a call and response. Children,
Children,
we love you.
we love you.
We bless you.
We bless you.
And we see the Christ present within you.
See the presence within you.
We love you.
Love you. Really, really love you.
And now we get to do the peace song with Kathy, and then if you would rise, if you are able, and come join our circle, and we will speak the end of our service, which we call the blessing. Now, if you have never done this, we have the words, or we did. Let me just see if I'm right. If you have never done this before, we have the prayer protection words and the words of the song if you didn't get it. Yep. So give it a go, Kathy.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other in harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well.
Nice to have you back. Oh, do we have any music for a couple of Sundays there?
Oh, we're better just like using CDs.
God is right here in my
Well, not horrible, but of course.
God is right here